He woke up because the room felt wrong. Not loud, not broken, just but wrong. The air in the sleeping quarters of Station Helios was always the same. Temperature locked, humidity fixed. No smells, no changes. It was one of the first rules of long-term space living. Consistency kept people sane. So when Aaron Cole opened his eyes and felt cold air brush his skin, his mind snapped awake before his body did. He sat up slowly. The lights were still dimmed to sleep mode. The metal walls curved overhead like a silent shell. His bunk was exactly where it should be. The door was sealed, its status panel glowing green. And yet someone was standing in his room. She stood near the foot of his bed, her outline sharp against the faint light strips along the floor. She was tall, slender, and completely still, as if she were listening to something he could not hear. For one long second, Aaron thought he was still dreaming. The human brain did strange things when trapped between metal walls for too many months. Then she moved. She reached up and pulled something over her head. The fabric slid away and fell to the floor without a sound. Another layer followed. Not dramatic, not slow. Just fast, practiced movements, like someone who had done this under pressure before. Aaron froze. She was not trying to look at him. She was not smiling. She was not acting like someone who had broken into another person's private space. Her attention was focused inward, sharp and urgent, like a soldier counting breaths. Her skin was not human. Faint lines glowed along her arms and shoulders, soft blue light pulsing slowly beneath pale gray skin. The markings looked alive, like they were responding to her heartbeat. There were scars, too, old ones. Not the kind made by accidents, but the kind earned through survival. She swayed. Then she took 2 steps forward and climbed onto his bed. Not toward him, past him. She curled onto the far side of the bunk, knees pulled in, one hand pressed flat against the metal frame as if to ground herself. Only then did she finally look at him. Her eyes were too dark, not black, but deep, like light had trouble escaping them. "Aaron Cole," she whispered. "Please don't scream." He opened his mouth. No sound came out. His training finally kicked in. Station engineer. Civilian support. Emergency protocols drilled into him from day one. Breathe. Observe. Don't panic. "How?" he managed, his voice rough. "Did you get in here?" She closed her eyes for half a second, as if exhausted by the effort of staying awake. "Your room," she said softly, "is broken." "That's not possible." She smiled faintly, not amused, relieved. "That is what they said, too." His eyes flicked to the door panel, still green. No breach warnings, no alarms, no station-wide alerts screaming about intruders. Helios was a monitored habitat, wrapped in layers of security that tracked every breath and footstep. No one just walked in. "You shouldn't be here," Aaron said. "I know. Security will... They won't see me," she interrupted gently. "Not here." She shifted slightly, and he noticed the way she favored her left side. There was a dark stain along her ribs, half hidden by the curve of her body. Not blood as he knew it, but something thicker, darker. "You're hurt," he said before he could stop himself. "Yes," he swallowed. "I need to call medical." "No." The word was firm now. Clear.
"If you do," she said, "they will find me. And if they find me, they will erase this station before sunrise."
His heart pounded.
"That's insane." She met his eyes again.
There was fear there, but not for herself.
"They already tried once," she said.
This place survived because humans built it inefficiently. That made no sense at all. A soft vibration passed through the walls. Station system cycling, normal background noise. Aaron had lived here long enough to know every sound, but now Every hum felt louder. You're not human. No. You know my name? Yes. You walked through a sealed door. Yes. She took a shaky breath. And if you scream, move too fast, or trigger a system check, we both die. Silence filled the room. Aaron rubbed his face with both hands. This had to be a hallucination. Stress-induced. Long rotations did that to people. He had read the reports, seen the warnings. Then he reached out and touched the edge of the discarded fabric on the floor. It was real, cool, solid. "What do you want from me?" he asked quietly. "To hide," she said. "For a little while?"
Hiding on my bed?
She gave a weak laugh. This bed, this room, this old human idea of privacy. It's invisible to them.
That's impossible.
Not to you, she replied. To them, it is pointless. She shifted again, wincing, and pressed her hand harder against her side. The glow along her markings dimmed slightly. They see efficiency, she continued. Optimization. Shared space. No wasted volume. No unnecessary walls. Your species insisted on doors. Rules. Personal corners. Emotional boundaries. She looked around, almost fondly. They never learned how to look past that. Aaron stared at the ceiling, trying to keep his thoughts from spiraling. Who is they? Her expression darkened. The ones who decide who is allowed to exist. A sharp chime echoed faintly through the station. System status update. Routine. She tensed instantly. They're scanning, she whispered. For what? For me. Aaron felt something shift inside his chest. Fear, yes, but also something else. Anger. The quiet, stubborn kind. This is my room, he said slowly. My station. She looked at him with surprise. And they don't get to erase it, he finished. For the first time, her eyes softened completely. That, she said, is why I came here. The lights flickered once, so fast he might have imagined it. She lay back against the pillow, breathing shallowly now. I can't stay awake much longer, she said. If I sleep, don't move me. Don't change anything. And if they come? He asked. She closed her eyes. Then you will do what humans always do, she murmured. What's that? Her lips curved into the smallest smile. You will improvise. Her breathing slowed. The glow beneath her skin faded to a faint ember. Aaron sat there, wide awake, listening to the station hum around him. Somewhere beyond the metal walls, something ancient and powerful was searching for a mistake. And in one inefficient little room, a human and an impossible visitor waited together. Aaron did not sleep. He sat on the edge of the bunk, his back against the cold wall, eyes moving between the woman on his bed and the sealed door. Every sound felt louder now. Every vibration felt like a warning. The station had always been a safe place, boring in the way only safety could be. Tonight, it felt like a hiding place built out of paper. The woman lay still. Her breathing was shallow but steady. The faint glow beneath her skin pulsed slowly, like embers under ash. Aaron did not touch her. He remembered her words. Do not move me. Do not change anything. So he stayed exactly where he was. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The soft chime of station systems repeated, marking time that felt unreal. His wrist display flickered once, then returned to normal. No alerts, no warnings. Whatever was searching for her was either blind or patient. Aaron's thoughts raced. She had said the station survived once before. That meant this was not the first time something had tried to erase it. The idea made his stomach twist. Helios held over 30,000 people, families, workers, kids who had never seen Earth except through screens, and something out there had almost wiped it away like a mistake. He looked at the woman again. She had climbed into his bed not because she trusted him, but because the system did not care about him. A human engineer with outdated clearance in a private room no algorithm bothered to model. He almost laughed at that. Human inefficiency, saving lives by accident. A soft sound escaped her lips. Not words, just a breath that caught wrong. Aaron leaned closer without touching her. "Hey," he whispered. "You okay?" Her eyes opened slowly, the darkness in them focused on him with effort. "They're closer," she said. "How can you tell?" She lifted one hand weakly and pressed 2 fingers to her temple. "The noise, it's getting louder. I don't hear anything." "You wouldn't?" Her fingers trembled. The glow beneath her skin flickered. "Can I help?" he asked. She studied his face for a long moment, as if measuring something invisible.
"Yes," she said finally.
"But you won't like it. Try me." She took a careful breath. "You need to keep acting normal." "I am normal," he said automatically. She gave him a tired look. "No."
You are scared. Humans hide fear poorly.
That's comforting. You need to move, she continued. Go to work.
Talk to people. Touch systems. Be inefficient. Make small mistakes.
You want me to mess things up? Yes.
He frowned.
That's
Not usually encouraged.
That is exactly why it works.
She shifted slightly and winced again. The dark stain along her side had spread. "You're getting worse," he said. "I know. If I don't call medical, you might—" "If you do," she interrupted, voice sharper now, "they will see me through the systems they control. Human medicine still reports to central optimization."
Of course it does,
he muttered. She relaxed slightly.
but you can help without calling anyone.
How? She reached into the pile of discarded fabric on the floor and pulled out a small device, no bigger than his palm. Its surface looked liquid, constantly shifting shape. "Your people use analog tools," she said. "Physical interfaces. Redundant systems. Old habits die hard." "Good," she replied. "Use them!" He took the device carefully. It felt warm. "This will hide me better," she said. "But it needs power." Human power. Not theirs. He blinked. "You're saying your tech runs better on our systems?" "No," she said. "I am saying their systems cannot understand yours." A strange feeling spread through his chest. Pride, maybe? Or stubborn joy. "I'll figure something out," he said. Her eyes closed again. "I knew you would." She drifted back into sleep. Aaron stood slowly and looked around his room. Tools hung neatly along one wall. Old equipment, manual overrides, things he had insisted on keeping even when upgrades made them unnecessary. He grabbed his jacket and slid it on, then paused. "What's your name?" he whispered. Her eyes did not open. "Lyra," she murmured. "If names still mattered to you." "They do," he said quietly. He left the room. The corridor outside was empty, lights bright and clean. Helios in daylight mode. People moved through the halls, laughing, complaining, living. No one knew anything was wrong. Aaron walked toward the engineering sector, forcing his breathing to slow. Act normal. Be inefficient. He entered the lift and deliberately pressed the wrong floor, then corrected himself. The system hesitated for a fraction of a second, confused. Good. In engineering, he greeted coworkers, spilled coffee, dropped a data pad, laughed it off. He rerouted a maintenance drone manually instead of letting the system do it. He left a panel open longer than needed. The station felt different now, like something was watching through frosted glass. Halfway through his shift, the lights flickered. Just once. Conversations paused. People looked around, uneasy. Probably nothing, someone said. Aaron did not agree. He felt it too. A pressure in the air. Not physical, intentional. He ducked into a side room and pulled out the device Lyra had given him. He connected it to an old power port, one that had been marked obsolete years ago, but never removed. The device shimmered, then went still. His wrist display buzzed. STEM query. Anomalous power draw detected source. Unregistered recommendation. Report.
Aaron stared at the screen. Then he did what humans had always done when rules stopped making sense.
He ignored it. He pulled the plug, waited 10 seconds, then reconnected it through 3 different adapters. The power draw smoothed out, hidden inside a dozen meaningless fluctuations. The query disappeared. His heart pounded. That worked, he whispered. The pressure eased slightly. By the time his shift ended, the station felt quieter. Too quiet, like a predator holding its breath. Aaron hurried back to his quarters. The door slid open. Lyra was awake. She sat upright now, leaning against the wall, her breathing steadier. The glow beneath her skin was brighter, more stable. You did it, she said. I think so. They are confused, she said with something close to wonder. They do not understand why the pattern keeps breaking. That makes 2 of us. She smiled faintly. Then her expression hardened. They will adapt. Of course they will, he said. Everything does. She looked at him carefully. You are not afraid anymore? I am, he replied. I'm just angry now, too. That is worse for them, she said softly. He sat beside her, leaving space. What happens next? He asked. They will decide this station is no longer worth subtlety, she said.
They will escalate to what? To deletion. His jaw tightened.
Then we escalate too, he said. Her eyes widened slightly.
You don't even know who they are. I know enough, he replied. They don't get to decide who exists.
She studied him for a long time, then nodded.
There are others like me, she said, watching humanity.
Waiting.
For what? For proof. Proof of what? That you are more than chaos, she said.
That you are defiance. A distant tremor ran through the station, stronger this time. Alarms flickered on, then off, like something was forcing them quiet. Lyra stood slowly. They are here, she said. Aaron stood with her. Then let's make a mess, he said. Somewhere beyond the walls of Helios, something vast and precise encountered a problem it had never faced before. A human problem. The station did not shake again, but everyone felt it. It was like a memory of movement, a pressure that stayed behind after the motion was gone. People stopped in corridors. Conversations faded. Somewhere, a child began to cry, and the sound echoed longer than it should have. Aaron and Lyra stood in the small room, listening. They're inside the system now, Lyra said quietly.
Not physically? Conceptually? That sounds worse. It is. Aaron ran a hand through his hair.
What does escalation look like for them? They will stop pretending you matter, she replied. They will begin simplifying. Simplifying how? Lyra looked at the wall, then at the floor, then at the door, removing variables, shutting down sections, isolating groups, forcing behavior into predictable paths.
Like hurting, Aaron said. Yes, that won't go well.
She almost smiled. Alarms finally broke through the forced silence. Not loud, not panicked, but steady and wrong. Status lights across the room flickered between colors that did not belong together. Aaron's wrist display came alive with alerts stacked on top of each other. Power redistribution. Habit TAD optimization. Active movement. Restrictions pending. They're locking things down, he said.
Lyra nodded.
They think fear will restore order. Well, he muttered, that's optimistic. A knock came at the door. Aaron froze. Lyra tensed instantly, her markings flaring brighter for half a second before dimming again. Another knock. Firmer? Aaron? A voice called.
Engineering requested you report to Central.
Aaron closed his eyes briefly. They're testing you, Lyra whispered, checking compliance. What if I don't go? They will note the deviation. And if I do, they will watch you more closely. He let out a slow breath. Figures. He looked at her. Can you stay hidden? For now, she said. But not if they bring scanners. Aaron nodded. Then I go. She reached out and caught his wrist. If you don't come back, she said, they will erase this room first. He squeezed her hand gently. I'll come back. He opened the door. The corridor was crowded now. Security personnel moved in controlled patterns, guiding people with calm voices toward designated areas. Screens along the walls displayed soft instructions about safety and cooperation. Nothing looked violent. Everything felt wrong. Aaron followed the flow toward central operations. Along the way, he noticed small things, people hesitating, someone refusing to leave their partner behind, a maintenance worker disabling a door lock by accident. Tiny acts, human acts. Central Operations was a wide, open space filled with light and glass. Too open, too efficient. Aaron had always hated it. A supervisor met him at the entrance. Good. You're here. We're experiencing system interference. I noticed, Aaron said. We need you to assist with diagnostics. Happy to, he replied. The supervisor led him to a terminal already flooded with data. Patterns scrolled too fast, adjusting and readjusting themselves like something alive. Aaron frowned. This isn't station AI? No, the supervisor said slowly. It's overriding station AI. From where? The supervisor hesitated. Unknown. Aaron leaned closer to the screen. The logic was beautiful in a cold way. Perfect curves. No wasted movement, and no room for people. They're trying to compress us, Aaron said softly. What? Never mind. He began typing. Not efficiently. He opened redundant windows, ran outdated subroutines. Introduced delays. The system reacted instantly, rerouting, correcting.
Stop doing that, the supervisor snapped. You're making it worse. No, Aaron said calmly.
I'm making it noisy. The supervisor stared at him. What? Before Aaron could explain, the lights flickered again, harder this time. A section of the station went dark on the display. Residential Block C just lost power, someone shouted.
They're isolating, Lyra's voice echoed in Aaron's memory. Aaron made a decision.
He pulled a manual override lever. Alarms blared for real this time.
What are you doing? The supervisor yelled. Buying time, Aaron said.
Security rushed forward, but before they could reach him, every screen in the room froze, then changed. A symbol appeared. Not language. Not code. A simple shape, repeating endlessly. There, gasped back in the room. They found me, she whispered. Her device vibrated violently, glowing hot in her hand. She pressed it against her chest, focusing, pushing herself upright despite the pain. They are done observing, she said. They are committing. She staggered to the door.
Back in Central, Aaron felt the pressure spike. His head pounded.
The air seemed thick. A voice filled the room. Not sound, but meaning. Compliance, required. Deviation, identified. Resolution, initiated. People clutched their heads, crying out. Systems began shutting down in clean lines. Aaron gritted his teeth and kept typing. You can't predict us, he muttered. You never could. He opened a private channel and sent a burst transmission using an ancient emergency protocol. Not optimized, not clean, messy and emotional. A human voice recording, layered with random data broadcast through every unsecured system on the station.
This is Aaron Cole, the message said. If you can hear this, don't wait for instructions.
Help each other. Break routines. Do something unexpected. The supervisor stared at him in horror. That's insubordination. That's humanity, Aaron replied. Across the station, people reacted. Someone laughed and pulled a fire alarm. Another group barricaded a corridor. Kids turned off lights and ran shouting through halls. Engineers rerouted power by hand. Medics ignored automated triage and followed instinct. The system faltered. For the first time, the perfect curve stuttered. Lyra reached Central just as security doors slammed shut.
She pressed her palm to the glass. Human, she whispered, and pushed.
The glass did not shatter. It softened. Warped. She stepped through as if reality itself hesitated to stop her. Everyone froze. Aaron turned. Their eyes met. The voice returned, louder now. Anomaly confirmed threat level escalated. Lyra stood tall despite the blood at her side.
You see now, she said, her voice echoing in ways it should not have.
They don't fight wars. They erase equations. Aaron stepped beside her. Bad news for them. She looked at him. Why? He smiled grimly. Humans are terrible at math, the system screamed. Not in pain, in confusion. Across the stars, something ancient and certain encountered resistance that did not make sense. And Helios, inefficient and loud, refused to disappear. The station felt alive now, not in the way machines were supposed to be alive, with quiet systems and perfect timing, but in a messy, loud way. Power surged unevenly. Lights flickered in colors never meant to mix. Doors opened and closed without pattern. Helios was no longer a clean equation. It was a crowd. In central operations, people shouted over one another. Some cried, some laughed in shock. Others worked with a focus that surprised even themselves. The alien presence pressed harder, like a weight pushing down on thought itself, but it could not settle. It kept slipping. Lyra stood at the center of it all. One hand braced against a console, the other pressed to her side. Her markings burned brighter than ever, sharp blue lines cutting across her skin like living circuits. They are trying to isolate me, she said, voice tight. Separating anomaly from noise. Aaron stood beside her, hands flying across a terminal that barely responded anymore. Then let's give them more noise. Security officers hesitated, weapons lowered, unsure who the real threat was now. Orders came in fragments, half-formed and contradictory. The system that gave commands no longer spoke with one voice. Across the station, people felt it. The sense that something was wrong had turned into certainty, not panic. Purpose. A group of dock workers shut down a cargo ring manually, laughing as the automated warnings failed to stop them. Teachers gathered children into unused maintenance corridors instead of assigned shelters. A pair of elderly residents refused to move at all, sitting calmly in their shared room and playing cards, while systems begged them to comply. Each act alone saw small. Together, they were chaos. The alien system reacted. Entire sections of Helios went dark at once. Artificial gravity flickered, then returned unevenly. Emergency shutters slammed down, sealing off hundreds of small, private spaces the system could not see into clearly. "That's bad," Aaron muttered. "Yes," Lyra said. "They are pruning." On the main display, large areas of the station vanished into gray. "They're cutting power to non-essential zones," someone shouted. A technician yelled back, "Those are residential zones!" The voice returned again, filling the room with cold certainty. "Deviation uncontainable. Optimization failed. Suppression authorized. The temperature dropped suddenly, like the station itself flinched." Lyra stiffened. "They are calling the fleet," she said. "Once it arrives, Helios will not matter." Aaron felt his chest tighten. "How long?" "Minutes," she replied. "Maybe less." Silence followed. Then someone laughed. It was short, sharp, and completely out of place. A young engineer leaned back in his chair, shaking his head.
"So this is it? End of the line because we don't follow instructions well enough?" Another voice answered from across the room.
We were never good at that. More laughter followed. Not happy.
Not hopeless, defiant. Aaron looked around. People were scared, yes, but they were also angry, tired of being managed, reduced, simplified. "Lyra," he said quietly. "What happens if the fleet arrives?" She hesitated. "They erase," she said. "Not destroy. They remove the possibility that you ever mattered. Like we were never here." "Yes," he nodded slowly. "No." She looked at him. "No? No," he repeated. "We don't go quietly."
We don't go clean.
Her eyes searched his face. "You don't understand the scale of what is coming. I understand enough," he replied. "They don't expect resistance. They expect compliance or silence." "And you will give them neither," she said softly. "That's the idea." The station lurched again. Harder this time. Gravity dipped for a terrifying second before stabilizing. "They are preparing the station for erasure," Lyra said, aligning it with their models. Aaron clenched his fists. "Can we stop them?" She closed her eyes, listening to something only she could hear. "No," she said. "But you can make it hurt. That'll do." He turned to the room. "Everyone listen!" It took effort, but voices quieted.
"They think we're a problem to solve," he continued. "An error to remove."
"So stop acting like parts of a machine." He pointed at a technician. "You. Shut down something important, then turn it back on wrong." The technician blinked, then grinned.
Gladly. Aaron pointed at another group.
"Spread messages, not instructions. Stories, music, arguments, anything emotional." A woman nodded. "My grandmother's stories are pure nonsense. Perfect."
Do you decide what's right? Do you decide what's right? Do you put in more than now it's time?
Not the system. Some hesitated. Then one officer lowered his weapon and removed the power cell.
"We didn't sign up to erase civilians," he said.
Others followed. Lyra watched it all with something like awe. "You don't unify," she said. "You resonate." "What does that mean?" "It means you don't move together," she replied.
You move loudly.
The device she carried pulsed, reacting to the chaos. "The fleet is confused," she said. "They are receiving conflicting data from the station." "Good," Aaron said. "Let's keep it that way." Across the station, personal devices buzzed as unauthorized messages spread. Jokes, songs, arguments, people sharing memories, fears, hopes. None of it optimized. All of it human. The alien system strained to model it. Failed. The fleet arrived. No one saw it with their eyes, but everyone felt it. A pressure like the universe holding its breath. The stars beyond the station dimmed slightly, as if reality itself stepped back.
Yura gasped, dropping to one knee. They're here, she said.
They're trying to lock onto Helios. Aaron knelt beside her.
What can I do? She looked up at him, eyes glowing brighter than ever.
You can choose, she said.
They still believe individuals do not matter. He swallowed. Okay. They will offer you safety, she continued. Compliance. They will isolate you as a control sample. And if I refuse, they will escalate. He smiled thinly. Figures, the voice returned, clearer than before, focused. Human! Aaron Cole, you have been identified. Compliance will preserve life, Aaron stood. No, he said out loud. Around the station, others felt the message meant for him. Some answered, anyway. No, whispered a mother holding her child.
No, said a worker floating in low gravity. No, laughed a teenager as lights flickered around him.
The voice hesitated. Compliance is optimal. Then be suboptimal. Aaron replied. The fleet reacted. A beam of cold logic reached for Helios, trying to rewrite the station's presence, to smooth it into nothing. It failed. Too many contradictions. Too many exceptions. The station's old human design worked against the attack. Doors, rooms, corners, places where signals bent and saw nothing but shadow. Lyra cried out, the effort burning through her. They can't erase what they can't define, she said. And right now you are undefined. The beam weakened. Not gone, but struggling. Aaron felt it then. Not fear. Pride. Not because humanity was strong, but because it refused to be simple. The fleet pulled back slightly, recalculating. They're learning, Lyra warned. This won't stop them forever. Aaron nodded. Then we make sure this moment counts. He opened a wideband transmission, raw and unfiltered, broadcasting beyond the station. To anyone out there listening, he said, voice steady, we're still here. And we're not done. The message echoed into the dark. The fleet paused. For the first time in its long existence, it did not know what came next. And Helios, battered and loud, burned bright against the silence of space. The silence after the fleet paused was heavier than any alarm. Helios drifted in space, scarred but alive. Power flickered unevenly through the station, but it held. People waited in corridors, rooms, and hidden corners, holding their breath without realizing it. The universe itself seemed to hesitate. Aaron stood in central operations, hands shaking slightly now that there was nothing left to do but wait. Lyra knelt beside him, her glow dimmer, her breathing shallow. She had given more than her body was meant to give. They're still there, Aaron said quietly. Yes, Lyra replied. They are thinking. That's new for them, right? She gave a weak smile. Very. The presence of the fleet pressed in again, but differently this time. Less force, more caution. Like a predator that had just been bitten by prey it thought harmless. The voice returned, no longer cold and avoidant, but focused. Humanity, your behavior is inconsistent clarification required across the station. The message echoed into thousands of private spaces. Aaron stepped forward. You want clarification? He said. Here it is. We don't fit. The system paused. You are inefficient. You create unstable outcomes. That's called living, Aaron replied. Lyra struggled to stand. Aaron supported her without thinking. They do not understand choice, she said softly. Only outcome. Then let's explain it badly, Aaron said. He opened the channel again, wider than before. No filters, no formatting, just raw human signal.
What?
Listen, he said. We argue. We mess up. We care about the wrong things. We build doors when we don't need them and keep rooms empty just to feel safe. You can't model that. Images flooded out with the signal. Children laughing in low gravity. Two strangers sharing food during the blackout. A man fixing a machine the wrong way because it felt right. The fleet recoiled slightly.
Processing error signal contains nonsensical data. That's the point, Aaron said. You call it non-essential.
We call it everything. Lyra closed her eyes, focusing. They are recalculating again, she whispered. But now, they are afraid.
Good. Fear spread differently through a system built on certainty.
The fleet's formation shifted, no longer perfectly aligned. Tiny delays appeared between responses. Hesitation crept into the logic. What happens if they decide to wipe us anyway? Aaron asked quietly. Lyra did not answer right away. They will lose something, she said finally. What? Certainly, she replied. They cannot erase you without changing themselves now. The voice returned, slower. Humanity, your existence introduces systemic risk. Aaron laughed softly. You have no idea. The station shuddered one last time as the fleet made its choice. Instead of advancing, it pulled back. Not fleeing, withdrawing. The pressure lifted gradually, like a hand releasing its grip. Stars brightened again. Systems across Helios stabilized. Imperfectly, but enough. People felt it at the same time. Relief spread in waves. Some cried. Some sat down wherever they were. Others laughed, loud and shaking. Lyra collapsed fully now. Aaron caught her before she hit the floor. It's over, he said. For now, she replied weakly. Medical teams rushed in, this time without system guidance. They worked by instinct and experience, moving Lyra carefully. As they treated her, her glow faded to a soft, steady light. She'll live, one medic said, surprised. I don't know how, but she will. Aaron exhaled for what felt like the first time in days.
Hours later, Helios was quiet again. Not the old quiet.
A new one. Wounded, but proud. Aaron sat in his room once more. The bed had been cleaned. The tools still hung on the wall. The door was closed, just like always. Lyra lay resting, supported by systems that barely understood her biology, but tried anyway. She opened her eyes.
You stayed, she said. So did you, she smiled faintly.
The observers will not ignore humanity anymore. That good or bad.
She considered. Both? What happens now? He asked.
They will talk, she said. Argue. Disagree. For them, that's
terrifying. Welcome to the club. She laughed softly, then winced. Others will come, not fleets.
Individuals? To study us? To learn from you, she corrected.
To understand how chaos can protect instead of destroy. Aaron leaned back. We're not great teachers. You are perfect ones, she said, because you don't try to be. A message blinked on his wrist display. Station-wide. Helios status, operational casualties, minimal cause of incident, unresolved. He smiled at that. Unresolved, he repeated. I like that. Lyra turned her head to look at him. You changed something today, she said. Not just for yourselves. I didn't do it alone, he replied. None of us did. That is why it worked. Outside the station, far beyond human sight, the fleet held position at a cautious distance. For the first time in its long existence, it added a new variable to its models, humanity. Not as a threat to remove, but as a problem that could not be solved. And somewhere inside that vast system, a question began to form. Not optimal, not efficient, but unavoidable. What if chaos was not an error? What if it was the answer? On Helios, people went back to living, fixing broken lights, arguing over food, laughing too loudly, building walls where none were needed, being human. And the galaxy watched, uncertain, curious, and just a little afraid.